North Carolina's first annual HBCU Part 2 series discussing advantages of attending North Carolina historically Black colleges and universities. I am Soretta Broadway. I am the CFNC regional representative for the 919 region. I'm so glad you took time out of your busy schedule on this Tuesday evening to be with us and hear from some dynamic speakers regarding North Carolina HBCUs. We had part 2 back in February. We had 5 other HBCUs back in February, and the response was so great. We were going to host this in the fall, but we decided to have it just a few weeks later because the momentum was so great. So we're highlighting 5 wonderful North Carolina HBCUs. Tonight, you have the pleasure of hearing from St. Augustine's University Falcons. You have the pleasure of listening to Johnson C. Smith University Golden Bulls. You have the pleasure of listening and hearing from Livingston College Blue Bears. You have the pleasure to listen to the Winston-Salem State University Rams. You have the pleasure of hearing from North Carolina Central University Eagles. And you have the pleasure of hearing from the Assistant Vice Chancellor for Scholarship and Student Aid at North Carolina Central University Eagles, none other than my friend, my colleague, Dr. Sharon Oliver. Now, I know you don't think I'm excited tonight, but I am. I'm excited because I have a passion, of course, for higher education. And because I am a product of an HBCU, none other than St. Augustine's Falcons, St. Augustine's College back in the day when I attended, I am so excited for you to be able to hear about the advantages of attending a historically Black college and university. They're going to be giving you some history tonight about their institutions, the benefits of being a part of that HBCU family, highlight academic programs at their institution, discuss admissions requirements, and so forth and so on. And then you get the pleasure of hearing about financial aid from an expert. Yes, I call her expert because when I have questions, that's my go-to person, Dr. Oliver. So I'm so glad that she took time out of her schedule tonight to share some wonderful treasures about the financial aid process. But I have brought some wonderful people along with me. You hear me saying I brought them and they're online, but I have some colleagues with me tonight. I have Dr. April Query, who is on the line tonight. She is the CFNC Regional and Community Services Manager. I have my friend, my colleague, Tequila Hall, who is the regional representative for the Greensboro, the 336 area code. And I have my colleague, none other than Brittany Privet, who is the 910 CFNC regional representative. And then I see that I have some other colleagues on the line. I think I saw my friend Amy Denton on the line, and I don't want to start name calling because you know what happens when you start name calling, you forget somebody, but I did see a little glimpse of her. But I'm so excited that you have taken time, like I said again, to come out and hear information that's going to be shared with you. But I don't want you to be shy. I don't want you to be shy at the end or during the process of the presentations. I want you to put questions in the chat. I want you to ask questions. Anything you can think of that you want to know tonight about these dynamic colleges and universities, please do not hesitate to ask. I am now going to turn this program over to none other than my beautiful colleague, Brittany Privet, at this time. Give her a hand clap as she comes. That's a Boy Scout hand clap right there.
Thank you so much, Soretta. I don't know if I could ever match your energy and enthusiasm. Thank you so much for a positive and wonderful introduction. We are so happy to see so many people join us this evening for our presentation on what HBCUs can do for you. We're going to talk about the history of HBCUs tonight. We're also going to have our 5 HBCUs talk a little bit about what makes them special, academic programs, and how to apply if you're interested. And then of course, we're going to end on financial aid and open the floor for questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We'll be monitoring the chat throughout the presentation, but we're going to go ahead and get started with some national history of HBCUs. So HBCUs in the state and in the country have a very rich history. And if you're not familiar with the term HBCU, it stands for historically Black colleges or universities. And you may hear the term PWI tonight, which is also a term for predominantly white institutions. So just to make sure everybody's on the same page with the vocabulary. But Traditionally speaking, prior to the Civil War, African-American students could not pursue an education. It was against the law for African-Americans to pursue any education of any kind. Because of that, African-Americans decided to create their own education. So the first institution of higher learning for Black Americans was the Institute for Colored Youth. And then it was founded in Cheney, Pennsylvania in 1837, which was before the Civil War. And that was followed by Lincoln University, also in Pennsylvania, in 1854. And then Wilberforce University, founded in 1856 in Ohio. In 1896, the landmark Supreme Court case, Plessy versus Ferguson, established a separate but equal clause when it comes to the policies in education and other public entities. So from then on, schools were segregated up until 1954, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So by 1953, 75,000 students in the United States were enrolled in public and private Black institutions. In 1954, like we alluded to before, the Supreme Court decision, Brown versus Board of Education, rejected the separate but equal clause in Plessy versus Ferguson, excuse me. And many Black students, even though schools became integrated, decided to still continue their education at majority Black institutions, which at times lacked funding and adequate libraries and adequate academic facilities compared to their predominantly white counterparts. And over time, many of these HBCUs closed or merged with traditionally white institutions. That's why we take so much pride in the HBCUs that still exist today. Historically Black colleges and universities are known for producing some excellent graduates, and we're really proud to have many of our speakers represented today as alums of the colleges that they are speaking about. Just to give you a gauge, HBCUs have provided undergraduate training for 3/4 of all Black people in the United States holding a doctorate degree, 3/4 of all Black officers in the armed forces, and 4/5 of all Black federal judges. And I'm not sure if you heard, but our newest vice president is also a product of a historically Black college or university. HBCUs continue to rank high in terms of proportion of graduates who pursue and complete graduate degrees in professional training. And more than 80% of all Black Americans who received degrees in medicine and dentistry were trained at just 2 traditionally Black colleges, Howard University and Meharry Medical College. Today, these institutions of higher learning still account for almost 20% of the degrees awarded in medicine and dentistry to Black students. There is a rich history when it comes to historically Black colleges and universities, and we are so proud to live in the state that actually houses the most historically Black colleges and universities in the country. If you tuned into our previous webinar about our historically Black colleges and universities, you learned about 5 of our institutions. Today, we are talking about the other 5, which we're super excited about, and we did not select them for any specific reason, so there's no preference being shown. We chose the schools at random. So in our second installment, you're going to hear from some amazing schools, and we have ordered our speakers in order of founding. So we are going to kick our presentation off when it comes to our North Carolina specific HBCUs with St. Augustine's University. Ashley Smith is our admissions representative, and she's going to tell you a little bit more about what St. Aug has to offer. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Ashley.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ashley Smith. I am the admissions recruiter for St. Augustine's University. I just want to say thank you all for coming, taking the time out of your busy afternoons to attend. So let's get started. So I am an alum from St. Augustine's University. I graduated in 2019 with a bachelor's degree in sociology. I just tell a quick fact about myself. I chose the school because it was a smaller institution. I knew I wouldn't just be counted as a number. My professors really knew me personally, like they would ask me how my mom's doing. So that's like the main reason I chose St. Aug, because all over here was family. So I wanted to do family. So a little bit about our history. So the St. Agnes Hospital is right off of our campus. It was the first and only hospital that served African Americans until 1960. It also was the first HBCU nursing school in North Carolina for African American students. So then we have we were the first HBCU with a radio station and also a TV station as well. And I'm not sure if you guys have heard of George Williams. He was our athletic director and our track coach for many years. He's been coaching since 1976. He has actually won 39 national championships, and he's also coached 39 Olympic and 39 Olympics students, including 3 gold medalists. And also the fun fact is we were founded on July 19th, 1867. We were St. Augustine University in 2012. We haven't always been a university. We did switch from the college to the university 2012. We remained a college up until 1928. And in 1919, we were St. Augustine Junior College. So like I said, I am an admissions recruiter, so I'm in admissions. Our requirements are a 2.0 GPA. However, if you fall below that, we do believe in second chances. I was a second chance student. I graduated high school with a 1.8 and graduated from St. Augustine University 2 years ago with a 3.8 in honors. That's my little testimony to give students don't give up. It does not matter. You can do it. Our ACT score is a 17. SAT is an 840. However, those test scores are optional. But if you would like to apply for one of our scholarships, which we have many, we have our sports, academics. We're also having a big band scholarship right now that you're interested in. You can email me. I'll drop my email before I get off. But we are test optional. However, you'll have to turn in those test scores if you would like to apply for one of our scholarships. Of course, we'll need your transcript, unofficial until you graduate. Your health clearance forms, they are done through our online website, so you can just go to the website and do them, but we'll send you information about all that after you apply. And background checks, that goes through housing, but we also have a little to do with that to make sure that they get cleared. So those are just the admissions requirements. But like I said, if you're under that 2.0, do not hesitate to reach out. We can work something out. We do have a bridge program. So a little bit about the campus environment. Here are our programs of study. You guys can just kind of glance through those. We do have sociology. That's what I did. But our biggest programs on campus are probably business, sports management, criminal justice, and political science, I'd say, as of right now. But the biggest is definitely business. We have a huge business program if anyone's interested in business. And I can also get you guys the contact information for any of these programs. Their dean for that specific program, I can get you in contact with them. But a little bit about St. Aug. We are a family environment. That's what I always say. I didn't have much of a family growing up, but when I got to St. Aug, I have all this support behind me now. I really owe them a lot. They've done a lot for me, and I'm grateful for the school for sure. We have 20 plus majors and 15 plus minors. Like I said, we were established in 1867. We are affiliated with the Episcopal Church. They hold services on Sundays. They are on Zoom. I encourage every student to try it out. If it's not for you, hey, you can go to your own church. I mean, that's fine. We do have churches in the area, but at least definitely try it out because you can't knock it until you go. So for sure. We are a 4-year liberal arts institution, and SAU sits on 105 acres just of north downtown Raleigh. We are like a 5-minute walk downtown. Shaw's up the street, William Peace, of course. We have a lot of schools in the area. And then our average enrollment is approximately 1,000 students. We have a little over 1,000 right now. So our campus life, these are just some of the things we do on campus. We do have sports, of course. We have different sports that you can contact me about regarding scholarships. I was a part of the Alpha Kappa Mu Honor Society. We have our campus activity boards. Those guys are definitely doing a lot right now, planning for our homecoming that's coming up in September. Also, we have the Christian Fellowship Organization. Our international student organization is growing very, very rapidly. We have a lot of students in that organization. I actually have some student ambassadors that are in that organization. We have Sons and Daughters of St. Augustine University, and our TRIO program. I think there is another slide about the picture with TRIO, because I'll explain that. If it's not, I can still explain it. We have our STEM club. So these are a lot of the things we have to do on campus. We are having spring fling this week. So I have been doing a lot with our open house that we're having on Saturday. So it's definitely a lot to do on campus to get you guys engaged in different programs for sure. And we do have the Divine Nine as well. So I'm really, really big on TRIO. Actually, when I graduated, I got a job right after graduation with the TRIO program. They hired me a month after I walked across the stage. And then I went over to admissions a year later because I was doing a pretty good job recruiting. But so the TRIO program is amazing. If you're in educational talent search, Upper Bound or Upper Bound Math and Science, and you do decide to come to St. Aug, we do offer a $500 book scholarship for you students that are in the TRIO program. And also you can continue to be in the TRIO program at St. Aug. You can do student support services. They have so many different webinars, seminars every month. You do get a stipend if you go. They carry you on graduate tours. It's an amazing program. I also owe everything to Trio because Trio is what pushed me while I was in school to do better. I had tutors with Trio, and they were absolutely free. I love Trio. I can live, breathe, and eat Trio. Like the program is great. So if any students are in that program, please reach out to me and we can get you that scholarship along with some other great things that come with Trio.
All right, thank you so much, Ashley. We really appreciate you sharing information about the Falcon. Up next, we have Mr. Watson with Johnson C. Smith University.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody can hear me all right. But yeah, shout out to the CFNC organizers for having this event. I'm very excited to be here. I represent the Jcsu Bulls. Okay, so once again, my name is Daniel J. Watson, one of the undergraduate admissions counselors here at Jcsu, holding it down right here in the 704. Okay, so if you've not heard of Jcsu before, we were founded April 7th, 1867, right here in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina. Okay, we're literally 5 minutes down the road from the Carolina Panthers and 5 minutes down the road from the Charlotte Hornets. And we also just got a professional MLS, professional soccer team called the Charlotte FC football club as well too. Okay, so here at JCSU, we're different than a lot of those other schools out there. We're not just focused on getting you in the door. We're gonna not only get you in the door, take care of you and nurture you while you're here, and actually put you out there on the right footsteps. You know, once you get back out there in the real world. Okay, so one of our mottos is become yourself and change our world. Okay, so we want you to become that physicist, the exercise scientist, to become that businessman, but we also want you to just become a better overall person coming through JCSU. Okay, so getting into the nitty gritty, what does it take to get into JCSU? Okay, so we pride ourselves in looking at our students holistically. All right, so traditional path, I'm looking for students with 2.5 GPA, cumulative, weighted, and up. Okay, now let's say you might be in between a 2.4 and a 2.0. I can get you in through my Biddle cohort program. And then let's say even if you were maybe like a 1.9 and below, I can also get you in as a SitLux scholar. Okay, so those two programs are pretty much a summer bridge program. So you have the opportunity to move into campus 2 weeks prior to the first day of class and actually accumulate college credits before your official first day of class. Okay, so we understand she might have had, a rough semester in high school, or that standardized testing isn't necessarily designed for people to look like us on this call, but that's definitely okay. It doesn't mean you still don't deserve a shot at coming to JCSU and furthering your education. All right, so cost per year, we are private. Private liberal arts university, you're looking at roughly $27,000 per academic school year. We do not do in-state, out-of-state. I know most of you all are here in North Carolina, but everybody pays the exact same price, and that does include tuition, meal plan, and room and board. When it comes to scholarships, we're looking for our magic number is 3.0 on the GPA. Okay, and test scores are definitely waived. They are optional since we're living in this COVID pandemic era. But if you do have test scores, I would definitely encourage you to still submit those in. They can only help you getting into JCSU. Okay. Academic programs, I highlight some of the most popular top ones. The STEM field, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. I also have a cyber intelligence minor for you as well. So that's a great gateway straight into the FBI. Okay, business. Like I said, we're right here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We are the second largest financial district in the United States, only behind Wall Street. And we're top 10 cities in the United States for where African Americans are doing the best economically right now. Okay. Social sciences, I have 3 different types of psychology: developmental, biomedical, and applied psychology, as well as criminology, and then a very, very nice social work program. Okay, so we only have one master's program here at JCSU. You can come in and get your BSW, which is your Bachelor's of Social Work, and your MSW, which is your Master's of Social Work, in 5 years, and be good to go. Okay, also want to shout out the visual and performing arts, theater, dance, music, sound. I can make that happen for you, okay? And we also have a great major called IDS, which is interdisciplinary studies. So if you want to combine 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 majors, we can put all that together and accommodate what you're looking for, okay? And that right there, just some information how to get in contact with me. I'm pretty much a counselor right here in North Carolina, all the backyard of Carolinas, Georgia, DMV, Northeast, as well as Florida. But I also leave my contact information on the chat as well. I can go over to the next slide. All right, quick facts, knickknacks. So like I said, it's going to be a family atmosphere here at JCSU. We're going to know your name, we're going to know your face, and if you're not in class, we're going to know if you're there or not, okay? Now, just a little jokey joke. Of course, we don't have a GPS tracker on you or anything like that. That just gives you a sense of how close-knit we are here at JCSU, all right? Approximately 1,300 students. Every single first-year student will receive a free iPad mini, all right, as well as a free passport. So I'm gonna say it again for the people in the back, just in case you didn't hear me the first time. In your first year, I'm gonna give you a free iPad mini as well as a free passport as part of our Go Global initiative. So, you can learn something new today. You can actually study abroad right here at Jcsu. When it comes to sports, NCAA Division II, CIAA Conference, aside to my fellow CIAA schools on the call, so that's Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association, men's and women's basketball, football, men's and women's tennis, women's volleyball, softball, women's bowling, men's golf, and then men's and women's track and field and cross country. Urban Belt Complex, which is our track and field and pretty much our field for football. I was actually ranked the most scenic Division II stadium in the country in the past 2 years, so it's very, very nice. 60 different student organizations, everything from the poetry monks club. I got modeling troops. You can become Mr. and Mrs. Jcsu one day, even if you're looking at all the different student orgs and you're like, I don't know, Mr. Watson, I don't know, none of this is really rocking with me. All you need is you and a couple other friends, and you're all can actually go through the process of starting your own student organization and leaving your stamp on campus. We have all 9 of the Divine non-African American fraternities. Me, I'm a proud member of Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. That's the Black and Gold guys right there. So of course, I'm a big advocate of going Greek, as much more than just the party and the strolling. Now, don't get me wrong, it's definitely a good time, but on the other side is also an investment in yourself. Me, I'm the baby in the admissions office. I'm also a Generation Z. Shout out to all my Generation Z friends on the chat hopping in. So they get on me all the time, but it was a great stepping stone pretty much when it came to going to my next level of my career here at Jcsu. Okay, 13-to-1 student to faculty ratio. I promise you, you will not just be a name on the roster or a body in the classroom. Last couple of things, we are the #1 private Hbcu in North Carolina, and we're also the #1 small college in North Carolina for job placement when it comes time for graduating. Okay, so my background is actually a PWI, as Ms. Pivot mentioned earlier. So I went to a school that had 30,000 students, and only 4,000 of those students look like us on this call. Okay, so I'm telling you, here at Jcsu, we're going to know your face, we're going to know your name, and having that one-on-one interaction with your professors is going to be imperative and essential. The last thing I'll say for you all is, like I mentioned earlier, Generation Z as well. So when I go out to eat, when I'm going out to a restaurant, I'm going to look up the menu before I go. I know what beverage I'm going to get. I know what dessert I'm going to get, entree, appetizer, all that. Okay, so definitely want you all to do your research when you're picking a college that's going to be best for you. And definitely look at all of the great HBCUs on this call as different meals at the same restaurant. Okay, all different meals at the same restaurant, and you got to figure out which entree is going to best satisfy your appetite. Okay, so I'll definitely put my information in the chat. Thank you all again for having the Golden Bull family here. I'll definitely be around for the Q&A portion later. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Watson. That was great advice. I'm going to actually take that on the road with me, if you don't mind. So thank you so much for your energy and for your knowledge tonight. Up next, we have Courtney Lester coming from Livingstone. Take it away, Courtney.
Hello, everyone. Greetings. My name is Courtney Lester. I am the Senior Assistant Director here at Livingston College, and I also am an alum too, as we're here at Livingston College. So welcome to Livingston College. We believe in the holistic college experience here. We can go ahead and go to the next slide. So just a brief history about Livingston College. We were first known as Zion Wesley Institute, and we were founded by the AME Zion Church in 1879 in Concord, North Carolina, which is about 30 minutes away from Charlotte. And we moved to Salisbury, North Carolina in 1882. So we're right next to those Golden Bulls, probably about 45 minutes away from Charlotte. We can go ahead and go to the next slide. So just to get into those requirements, we require those 4 units of English, 3 units of math, 2 units of science, 2 units of social studies, 2 units of the foreign language, and our minimum requirement for the GPA is a 2.0, and our scholarships start at a 2.5. And we also have that summer bridge program, which we take those students with that 1.5 to 1.9 GPA, and we take them on a 6 weeks program. And it's not just, oh, okay, you be in the classroom, you're learning. No, we're taking you out. We're putting you in front of our current Blue Bears right now, giving you that full mentorship. We're just guiding you through the process. And then once you pass that test at the end, you come in with an automatic $1,000 scholarship and as a student here at Livingston College. So don't be discouraged. Definitely reach out. Okay, go to the next slide. Okay, so we have over 20 plus majors here offered at Livingston College in the School of Business, School of Education and Social Work, School of Liberal Arts, School of Mathematics and Science, and we also have a hospitality and department and culinary arts department too as well. So it's like a two part to that. So let's say you wanted to just get your AA here. So what you'll do is you'll just get your AA in the hospitality department. But if you want to do both hospitality and culinary arts, which means hospitality, I don't know if any of you guys are on here, but it means that you will run a hotel. And we actually have a hotel here in Salisbury where our students are housed if you're in that major. And what they do is they take one-on-one classes and courses, and they actually run that hotel as if it's actually people there living there. So that's a really cool hands-on program if you're thinking about hospitality management or culinary arts. So we are Division 2 here. We have basketball, cross country, football, track, bowling, cheerleading, softball, tennis, and volleyball. And all of these sports here offer scholarships. So me, myself, I personally was a cheerleader. I graduated in 2019. I cheered all 4 years. I loved it. I do encourage you guys, once you do go off to school, get involved in something, because it definitely will make your experience at college in college better. One thing that I enjoyed was the cheerleading aspect, because I love to travel. I'm the type of person, I love to travel. I love to try different foods. I'm actually from Jacksonville, Florida. So coming to North Carolina was a big surprise to me. I never knew anything about the CIAA, to be quite honest, but I love it. I'm here. I enjoyed my experience. So I definitely encourage you guys, definitely get involved in some type of program throughout your years in college. We can go to the next slide. So a little bit about our student life. We are blessed to have all D9 organizations on our campus, as well as we have the Blueberry Ambassadors, we have our Quiet Storm Marching Band, we have SGA, we have Gospel Choir, and we also have Concert Choir. And both of those actually offer scholarships too as well. So if you know how to sing a little bit, I mean, I don't, but I always tell students, if you know how to sing a little bit, cheer a little bit, it's money out there. Go get the money. I always tell students, you want school to pay for you, not you pay for school. You don't want to have all these student loans and stuff like that, but she'll get more into that as she goes through the financial aid portion, but definitely get involved. And one thing that I love that we have here, if we don't have a program that fits you, you can make your own program. All you need is an advisor, a couple other students, and guess what? You make your own program, make your own organization, do your own events, be as creative as possible, set your foundation here at Livingston College. We can go on to the next slide. So I know all y'all have phones, so I want y'all to take your phones out and I want y'all to screenshot this. So follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Get into the know with us. Always be into the know. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, shoot them to us. We always answering questions. We actually do something every day. Monday is our Motivational Monday, so we give you a good quote to keep you motivated, keep you boosted. Tuesday is our Let's Talk Tuesday, where we actually host an event similar to this at 3 p.m. and at 6 p.m., where we're just answering questions that you may have. Wednesday is TikTok Wednesday. You get to see me, Miss Lester, embarrass myself and do these TikToks that y'all do that I don't know how to do. Thursday is Throwback Thursday, where we give you just a little bit of history about the school, a little known fact, something that you may know, may not know about the school. And Friday, finally, is our Spirit Friday, where if you apply here, you'll get the acceptance letter. You send us a picture and say, hey, Miss Lester, I got my acceptance letter. Then we'll shout you out and be like, yes, Jamal, you're coming. Or yes, Kimberly, you're coming. And we're excited to see you. And you might even see me in the office throwing around my pom-poms, because like I said, I was a cheerleader. Definitely, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to DM us, contact us, or whatever. And I will also drop my information for you guys also in the chat too as well. And I hope y'all have a blessed day. I do just want to tell you guys, when you are thinking about schools, like he said, pick the school that best fits you. Make it your own experience. When you go, have your own experience. Don't go off what your parents say. Shoot, don't even go off of what I say. Make it your own experience, and do get involved, because that'll help you along your experience and make college fun. You want to have memories when you leave college, because those are going to be your best broke days, I promise, okay?
Thank you so much, Ms. Lester. I am loving the energy that everybody's bringing this evening. I really appreciate you taking the time out to share your passion about the Blue Bears. We really appreciate it. So we're hoping that you'll stick around and answer questions at the end. And thank you for sharing your personal information so that students can contact you if they're interested in pursuing an education at Livingston. Up next, we have I believe our first public institution tonight, Winston-Salem State University. Micaiah Hines is going to talk to you a little bit about what they have to offer with the Rams. Take it away, Micaiah.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you so much, Brittany. Hey, shout out to all the schools that have gone before us, and shout out to the schools that are coming after us. We are Winston-Salem State University, the home of the Rams. My name is Micaiah Hines. I am an admissions counselor and the transfer coordinator here at Winston-Salem State University. A quick fun fact about me is I've been in school since about 4 years old. I'm now 29, about to graduate with my doctorate in a month. So praise ye the Lord that school is almost over with. It is a very rewarding process, and I'm encouraging all of you all, as my colleagues have already mentioned, stay the course, find the school that best suits you, and let's get it. Let's talk about Winston-Salem State University. I appreciate the love, y'all. Waiting on you, Brittany. Hey, there we go. Cool. So let's stay here for a second. So Winston-Salem State University was founded in 1892 as a teacher's college where we had 25 students and 1 faculty member. All right. And since then, we have grown to 5,124 students. Our student to faculty ratio is currently 16-1. So as a public institution, we're nowhere near as big as our PWI counterparts, but we are like a medium-sized public institution, but we're still small enough to, as where my colleagues again have mentioned before, where we can have those intimate relationships. Here at Winston-Salem State University, we pride ourselves on being a family. We consider it a RAM family. So alumni, faculty, and staff, current students, and prospective students are all a part of our RAM family, our Ramily, where we support one another, we cheer one another on, and we uplift one another at all times. We've been named number 1 in the UNC system for graduates receiving jobs in North Carolina after graduation. We've been named number 1 as best college for your money for public HBCUs in the United States of America. So when you come to Winston-Salem State University, we're not going to tax you over the head. We're not going to make you pay a whole bunch of money. But what you do pay, I guarantee you, it will be the best bang for your buck. We've also been named number 1 in North Carolina for graduating Black students in nursing and the health professions. As a transfer counselor, our transfer acceptance rate was a 93%, which means we're accepting all students. We want to welcome everyone into our RAM family, right? You meet the requirements, we got you. You don't meet the requirements, we can help you, right? So we want you to think about coming to Winston-Salem State University. Some more points of pride: we've been named Best Research Center in 2019 and Best Nursing Program and Social Work Program in 2018. One thing, before we move on to the next slide, one thing that I want to be sure to highlight is we have grown to 60% of our classes being offered online, and next semester we are looking to offer about 70% of our classes online. We realize that we have a plethora of non-traditional adult learners, traditional students, however, we want to welcome you to our institution. When I first started at Winston-Salem State University, we had 5% of our classes online, just 5. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But now we have grown since then to 70% of our classes being offered online, especially during this season of COVID, whether you believe that COVID is still around or whether you believe that it's dying off. I think it's still around. So I believe that it's important for us to offer students 60% and almost 70% of our classes online. Again, before we move on, because I'm a transfer counselor, I sent in our transfer requirements. So I'm just going to talk, and we're going to kind of skip the next slide just to not confuse everyone. Our requirements as it pertains to getting into Winston-Salem State University, we require a 2.8 GPA. A 2.8 GPA, and we are test optional this year. So that means your ACT and your SAT test scores, if you have them, we welcome them. We welcome you to send them to us. If not, that's fine. You don't have to send them. We're test optional. If you don't have the GPA, we still ask that you all send your transcripts to us, because there are ways that we can also attempt to admit you via class rank, and also those test scores. Those test scores can't hurt you, but they can definitely help you. So if you have them, make sure you send them in to us. All right, Ms. Brittany, if you can skip the next slide and just go to the last slide for me. Perfect. So our academic offerings, we have more than 40 bachelor's programs. We have over 9 master's programs. We have 2 professional doctoral programs as well, and 2 certificate programs. We also just added an additional program in conjunction with Job Corps, where students can come learn about various jobs and various opportunities that the Job Corps offer in conjunction with Winston-Salem State University. Do that program for 2 years and then transfer over into Winston and become just a regular normal student. Either way, you are still a part of our RAM family, and you are still a part of the Winston-Salem school system as well. Our top programs is, of course, number 1, nursing. We have one of the best nursing programs in the entire East Coast, and so we celebrate that. Our social work program is definitely on the rise and very popular on campus. Business administration is very popular. Sports science, education, and biology, pre-med and pre-dental. So those are some of our top majors, but that doesn't mean those are our only majors. We do have 2 things I want to highlight with our majors. One being we do have African American Studies as a major, which I celebrate being an HBCU grad. I love that we continue to tell our story. Second thing is we offer a plethora of foreign languages as majors, which in a diverse world, in a diverse country, that can only help you in the long run. We are a part of the CIAA conference. Shout out to all my CIAA schools also in the meeting. Our men's basketball team did win the CIAA conference last year. Unfortunately, our women fell short in the final game, in the championship game, but we are very competitive in the CIAA across the board. We do have cheerleading, and we do have one of the best bands. We've been named Best Division II Band by ESPN and other journal institutions as well. So one last thing that I want to highlight for you all is that here at Winston-Salem State University, again, we are a RAM family where we welcome everyone to become a part of our RAM family, which means don't give up, don't give in, apply, right? Apply to every school that is listed here, because there's something that is offered to you. Every school has something to offer you, and Winston-Salem State could be your school of choice. So I encourage you all to apply to Winston-Salem State today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hines. I'm just overwhelmed by the energy everybody's bringing. And thank you for talking about your journey. Congratulations on almost being done with your PhD. That's a big deal, and we're so proud of you. I think I can speak for everybody on this call. We are very proud of the work that you're doing. So thank you so much for that. Last but not least, yes, you're welcome. Thank you. Last but not least, we are going to have 2 separate speakers from North Carolina Central. First, we're going to have Mr. Bird talk to you about admissions, and then we're going to have Dr. Oliver talk to you about the financial aid process, so students can get a better understanding on how to secure financial aid for whatever school they decide to go into. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Bird from North Carolina Central.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brandon Bird. I'm the admissions counselor here at North Carolina Central University. North Carolina Central University was founded on July 5th, 1910 by Dr. James E. Shepard. He was a pharmacist as well as a religious educator whose intent when he founded the institution was to provide young women and men with character and sound academic training for real service to a nation. Now here at NCCU, our school colors are maroon and gray. Our mascot is Eddie the Eagle, and we've adopted the motto of truth and service here, and we are one of the first schools in the University of North Carolina school system to actually implement a community service requirement. Now, some of our school demographics here, we are currently, our total enrollment is about over 8,000 with 6,067 students on campus at a time. So roughly during our normal academic year, we have about 36% of our students on campus. Now, the average SAT score is 971, the average ACT score is 18, and the average GPA is 3.2. Now, the minimum GPA requirement to get into NCCU is a 2.5. The GPA requirement, as well as the admissions requirement, is that we require that you have 4 courses of English, 4 courses of math, one of those being higher than Algebra 2, 3 courses of science, and one of those serving as a lab science, such as a biology or chemistry, 2 units of history, and one of those being world or American, and lastly, 2 consecutive units of the same foreign language. Now, back to the student demographic here at NCCU, we currently offer 81 degree programs with 146 degree concentrations. Our average class size here is about 23, and our student to faculty ratio is about 16 to 1. So what that will mean for you is you will receive a hands-on personalized learning experience. As I mentioned, our campus is nestled on 144 acres, and you'll often hear that referred to as the verdant green and sloping hills. Now, we are Division I in terms of sports. We currently have 310 student athletes who compete in 13 Division I sports. We compete in the MEAC, which is also known as the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. Our basketball team was most recently highlighted in ESPN. They produced a documentary called Why Not Us that was produced by ESPN anchor Stephen A. Smith, as well as current NBA basketball player Chris Paul. Now, some more of our highlights, we do offer 100 student-led organizations. Some of our more popular ones would be our Men's Achievement Center, as well as our Women's Center, which promote academic success, personal and professional growth and development. Now, our scholarships here at NCCU begin at a 3.3 GPA, and they typically range into 3 tiers. We have our Soaring Eagle, our Eagle in Flight, and our Rising Eagle students as well. Lastly here, we do have unique opportunities in terms of engineering partnerships. We have our 3+2 dual engineering partnership, and how it works, students will complete 3 years here at NCCU and obtain their physics degree. And they'll spend 2 years at one of our 3 partner schools, which do consist of Duke University, North Carolina State University, as well as Georgia Tech, and complete their electrical engineering degree. We do offer the study abroad program here through the Office of International Affairs, and it also comes with a passport office on campus. Students are actually able to choose the duration of their stay, whether it's 2 to 5 weeks, a semester, or a full year. And students have been to countries such as South Korea, Morocco, China, Spain, the Dominican Republic, and Jamaica as well. And lastly, here some of our popular programs are nursing, business administration, criminal justice, biology, and biomedical sciences. And our nursing program offers students 4 ways to obtain their BSN. They can do so through our traditional program, which allows them to complete it in 4 years, or through our accelerated program, which does allow them to complete it in about 3 years. We have a program that's tailored to registered nurses and veterans already. For our psychology program, we have 2 concentrations in general and clinical psychology. We also have an ABM within the psychology program that does allow students to obtain their bachelor's as well as their master's degree in a matter of 3 years. Now, our criminal justice program is highly accredited and rated by the Affordable Business Schools Online. It does provide students with basic understanding of the criminal and juvenile justice system. And some of the concentrations that are within the criminal justice program are homeland security, juvenile justice, corrections, and law enforcement, just to name a few. Now, our business administration program is highly accredited by the AACSB, and that's the Association to Advance Collegiate Schools of Business. And only 5% of business schools around the country have earned this recognition and distinction. Now, some of the concentrations that are offered are hospitality management, entrepreneurship, financial analytics, and cybersecurity. And lastly here, for our biology and biomedical sciences, we are one of the only institutions in the University of North Carolina school system to actually offer a Bachelor of Science for biology and biomedical sciences. Now, they do offer concentrations such as pre-med as well as pre-dentistry within that concentration. And this time I'll turn this over to Dr. Sharon Oliver.
Hey, good evening. It is a pleasure to participate in the advantages of attending an HBCU session. As a proud graduate of South Carolina State University, a former employee of Shaw University, and currently serving at NCCU, I am indeed honored to share financial aid strategies and tips. Okay, next slide, please. The first important step is to file the financial aid application on October 1st. Please add this particular date as one of the dates, the main date that you will do financial aid every year. It is an application that's required annually. It's not a one-time and you're done as admissions when you're applying each time. The FAFSA is filed every year around the same time on October the 1st. To simplify the process and reduce the possibility of being selected for verification and providing additional documents, we highly encourage you to utilize the IRS data retrieval tool. You can simply transfer your tax data directly to your financial aid application. That will save you so much time. We also say that if you're not able to do that, we do encourage you to timely submit all requested tax documents and other documents that may be requested. It's important to remember that we do not ask for current information as it relates to your taxes. We now ask for prior data. For the 21-22 school year, the tax return that's needed and the tax data that's needed is 2019. And you certainly would probably have that data accessible and on file. The greatest savings and benefits for college are scholarships. Apply for institutional, external, private, every scholarship that's available. The more, the better. Opportunities are available with churches, sororities, fraternities, banks. They're all over. So often we hear millions of unclaimed scholarship dollars. Take advantage of these opportunities to reduce loan debt. Now, there are basically 4 sources of financial aid, and they are gift aid, free money. That would be examples are grants, Pell Grant, state grants, institutional grants, and scholarships, of course, are also gift aid, free dollars. You can get scholarships based on your academic standards, merit, community, athletic scholarships are available. There are need-based scholarships, hobbies. A variety of scholarship opportunities exist. And again, I do encourage you to apply for as many scholarships as possible, again, to reduce loan debt. General timelines are September through April for applying for scholarships. And self-help means that you're contributing something towards these funds. For example, working on campus, that's considered a work-study on-campus job. Or if you choose to take out a loan or a parent takes out a loan on your behalf, there is something that's required, which is called repayment. So that's considered self-help. Now, where do these funds come from? What are the source of these funds? They may come from the federal government, from states, colleges and universities, employer reimbursement programs, private sources. Those are where the dollars are coming from. One important area that we want to make sure that you fully understand is the difference between direct costs and indirect costs. Oftentimes, when you receive an award offer, it says cost of attendance, and most families and most students actually think that is the cost to attend the university. The financial aid office we have, it's our budget, it's our total amount of money that a student will need in 9 months. So we're going to break it out. We're going to call it billable and non-billable expenses. And billable expenses are those expenses that will appear on your student statement that you will pay directly to the institution. And they're going to be your direct costs. And examples are tuition, fees, room, and board. And those are the expenses that you will see on your bill, and that's the payment that you must make. Now, there are going to be some other costs that we include in the financial aid office because to go to school, you still need books and supplies. That's called an indirect expense. And that is included in the financial aid cost of attendance. In addition to books and supplies, we have transportation, personal, or miscellaneous expenses. So our cost of attendance in the financial aid office is always larger or greater than the actual cost to attend the institution. And I just want to give you an example of institute direct costs and indirect costs. For example, the cost of attendance may be $26,000 for the year. The total cost of tuition, fees, room, and board may be $22,000. So that would be your direct cost or billable costs. And then your indirect cost would be $4,000. That's just one example for you. Our goal is to ensure financial stability. So we want to talk about some financial opportunities. They may be barriers, but we want to convert them into opportunities to support you throughout the student's matriculation. We don't want to get you to college, we want to get you through college. Students and parent loans must always be repaid, and your status should reflect current, forbearance, deferment. It should not be in default. When there's a defaulted loan, there are opportunities to get out of default, but your overall goal is to avoid default so that you can continue to qualify and receive federal student aid. Making satisfactory academic progress is so important. As a golden rule, it varies per campus, but please try and always maintain a cumulative grade point average of a 2.0 and complete at least 67% of attempted hours. And if you're earning at least $12,400 per year, please remember to receive federal financial aid, you must also file federal tax returns. A key goal at the end of each semester is to ensure that your account balance is paid in full, and that just helps you to be in good standings with the institution. And sometimes you have special circumstances that are not noted on the financial aid application. Maybe you've had a reduction of income. Remember, we stated that you're providing a tax return from 2019, and today is 2021. So a lot could happen between the time that you file taxes and today. If something has changed, you do have an opportunity to contact your financial aid office and request a special circumstance form or a professional judgment. It's the same form, but people use different terms. So if you have experienced a reduction of income, high medical or dental expenses paid out of pocket, death of a parent or spouse reported on the financial aid application, maybe a change in your marital status, or even a one-time gift, we do encourage you to please contact the financial aid office and share your circumstance. We as financial aid administrators are here to support you and guide you through this process. Finally, we'd just like to share a few tips about HBCUs. They offer competitive academic programs, supportive learning environment, family-like atmosphere, community and public service, strong networking opportunities, rich history and culture. As you've heard from the admissions representatives, these are the characteristics of HBCUs. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Oliver. And thank you for all of our speakers tonight. You guys have done an amazing job of touting your schools and talking about all of the amazing things you have to offer and just really what makes HBCU special. At this time, we're going to open the floor for questions. I'm going to close down the presentation, and if anybody has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself, or you're more than welcome to put your questions in the chat. Any of our CFNC representatives, did we see any questions in the chat that we want to bring up at the moment? Well, do we have anybody that has any questions in the audience that would like to unmute themselves and ask? We have some awesome experts here on the call that can answer whatever you have when it comes to attending an HBCU, any questions for the specific HBCU.
I have no questions in the chat. They have not been answered thus far.
I'm wondering, I know I heard a few colleges talk to it, but I'm wondering if those who didn't talk to it could talk about being test optional for next year. If anyone missed that when they were talking. Yes, I know I heard a couple colleges talk about being test optional. Maybe Winston-Salem talked about it, I think.
I know that we are test optional, but as far as our scholarships are required, we do still require those scores. So I still do encourage students to, if they can, if their parents allow them, you know, because they're still students at the end of the day, if they can still try to take those tests, because at the end of the day, you want school to pay for you, not you pay for school. So I still do encourage it, but it's not a requirement. I think for most schools now, I don't even think it's a requirement though.
Thank you so much. So does that kind of what you were saying, that might be a good point for some of the students to talk about, maybe the testing could lead to a scholarship. Is that what you mean, Ms. Lester, for other types of financial aid?
Yes. So if any student for Livingston, I can't speak for any other college or university on here, you could come in with a 2.5 and you automatically get the freshman incentive grant, which any student gets if they have a 2.5. But if you're talking about academic scholarship wise, we are requiring those scores for those scholarships. But that doesn't mean that you can't get into our school, but you would need those scores to qualify for those scholarships. Yes.
Yeah, similar to Livingston. So this is Daniel again from Jcsu. Yeah, we are definitely test optional for the upcoming school year, and then as long as I can see in the foreseeable future. But In the same instance with us, so 3.0 is our magic number for scholarships. So I'll give you a scenario. So a student who has a 3.5, they would be considered a golden elite scholar. Okay, so they can receive $6,500 per academic school year. But if a student has 3.5, and let's say we throw in a 800 SAT or we throw in a 17 ACT, then they will qualify for $10,000 per academic school year. So the SAT or the ACT can pretty much help you in regards to your merit-based scholarship. That's all you need here at JCSU. So 2.5 makes you traditional when it comes to test scores. SAT, all you need is 800. And then for the ACT, all you need is a 17. So they can only help you getting in to the university, and especially related to your merit-based scholarship.
Yeah, so real quick, I wanted to add to that. First of all, shout out to you, Daniel. Shout out to the brothers, A5.
You know it.
But I did want to add that yes, we are test optional, and I mentioned that earlier. But to add to that, some of our upper division programs, like the nursing program and things that are competitive, the test is a requirement. And so students who, I had a student who was a transfer student and graduated maybe like 2 or 3 years ago and didn't take the test. And so now she's trying to get into the nursing program, and the only way she'll get in now is if she goes and finds somewhere to take that test. And so some of our upper division programs where you have to apply to get into those programs are competitive programs, social work, nursing, and things of that nature. You still have to have those test scores. And so, yes, you might be schools might be test optional now, but I encourage students that if you can, go ahead and take it. Find somewhere to take it just to have it, just in case you run into one of those situations where further down the line, those schools are requiring those test scores to whatever extent. It won't hurt you because most of us are test optional. So this is not a penalty, so go ahead and take it anyway.
And just to kind of add on to what he said, I would encourage you all to take the SAT and ACT when applicable. Here at NCC, we are completely test optional for scholarships and for the remaining 2021 term.
St. Augustine's University as well is test optional this year, and it will roll into our fall semester as well. But I do encourage students to take it if you can and submit those test scores.
I appreciate all of your insight about the test. I think that's one thing that a lot of students are very nervous about, and that's completely understandable. But I do want to bring up a couple of points. One, CFNC.org, which is your free resource in the state of North Carolina to plan, apply, and pay and save for college and a career, has lots of resources for you when it comes to preparing for the college application process, including testing preparation. So I put a link in the chat for students to get a better to get access to some testing resources. Your high school counselor is going to be a great resource as well to help bridge that gap between you getting into taking some SAT or ACT tests. And please note, if you qualify for free or reduced lunch, you do qualify to take the SAT or ACT for free. So don't let cost be a barrier to you. If your family is experiencing financial hardship, but you may not qualify for free or reduced lunch, communicate that with your high school counselor so that you can have access to those tests. Again, it's not going to hurt you to take the test. It can definitely help you when it comes to opening up doors for different majors or scholarship opportunities. So we're really encouraging students to take the SAT and or ACT just so they have a score on hand for colleges to evaluate for different opportunities. We do have a question for North Carolina Central University. It looks like, excuse me, I was wondering about the criminal justice program at North Carolina Central and test options. So I believe we've touched on test options. Do we want to talk a little bit about the criminal justice program that Central is known so widely for, Mr. Bird?
Yes, so our criminal justice program pretty much provides students with the basic understanding of the juvenile and criminal justice system. So pretty much they offer concentrations in Homeland Security, law enforcement, juvenile justice, corrections, and it's also offered online too. We have a highly accredited program for online bachelor's in criminal justice. So with the online program, it pretty much gives students the classroom experience as well as field room experience moving forward in their given criminal justice field.
Wonderful, thank you. I do see here that Mr. Watson put the application for JCSU in the chat, and I think that's awesome. And he also posted that it is a free application. And I want students on here to understand and know that cost should not be a barrier for you when it comes to applying to college. There are ways to apply for free, and a lot of the schools who are represented today actually have free applications. But again, if you qualify for free or reduced lunch, you can apply to up to 4 colleges regardless of their application fee for free. And most colleges, coming from an admissions office, I can tell you from personal experience, most colleges are going to want you to apply. So if you reach out and show that you have some demonstrated need, if there's a cost barrier for you to apply to a college, they're going to work with you to get you where you need to be. Excuse me. So definitely communicate with these colleges and know that the people who are here talking to you about their schools want to engage with you. They want to talk to you. They want to help you get to where you need to be. So definitely reach out to them and utilize them as resources. Do you have any other questions? All right, so I guess since we don't have any questions in the chat, I think we can end with each of our speakers, if you don't mind sharing what you think was your favorite, what do you think makes attending an HBCU special? Mr. Watson, I understand that you said you did not attend an HBCU, but you are currently employed by an HBCU. They pay your bills, so I'm sure you can tell a little bit about what makes attending an HBCU special. But if we can get everybody to quickly tell us one thing that makes attending an HBCU special, we'll go ahead and close out on that.
Okay, I'll go first. I'm a cheerleader. I'll go first. So what makes my HBCU special, my experience, I think, was actually seeing some people that look like me and that are just as smart as me. Even my professors, doctors, you talk about doctors and lawyers that look like me that are just as smart as me. You talk about somebody right now that is currently doing the same job that I'm doing, but getting his doctorate all at the same time. Praises to you, because I understand your pain right now. So praises to you. So definitely seeing my people that look like me, that are just as smart as me, if not smarter, teaching me, educating me, and actually learning the roots of my history. I think that was the biggest thing. I learned a lot, not just during Black History Month either, about my culture. So I think that was my favorite.
And I'll go next. I think it's the personal care and wraparound support that's offered. It's just so you feel like you're not a number. You feel as if there is someone there that's always available to give you the support. It could be something that you're learning in the classroom, or it could be something that you're trying to gain additional information about campus life experiences. There's always someone that you can easily reach out to for support who's showing care to lead and guide you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll go next. So I think the different organizations definitely help with HBCU, because they provide so many different cultures and activities for these students to do. And I know other campuses do have activities as well. But with the HBCU experience, you really get that one-on-one time, personal touch from faculty and staff, the people who are the advisors for these organizations and programs. They're very it's very hands-on with students. I feel like the personal touches our faculty and staff give, just personally at St. Augustine's University, it's amazing. It changed my life. So definitely the personal touches and the programs offered for students.
I can go next. I would say the family-like atmosphere, like Ms. Smith said, the personal touches environment. I often tell students, once you leave a HBCU, you're going to leave with an extension of a godmother, a godfather, or aunt or uncle in terms of the relationships that you develop, with the faculty and staff. My personal testimony, I'm an HBCU alum myself, and my academic advisor going through college, me and him kind of bumped heads at times, but we developed a relationship by the end of my senior year, to the point where when I went to apply for the job I'm at now here at North Carolina Central University, he was the first one to write my letter of recommendations. That just goes to show you the relationship that you can build here. Also, we have a strong alumni network. Anywhere you go, if you're wearing paraphernalia, 9 times out of 10, you're going to run into someone that is an alum of the institution that you're currently at. And not to mention the Divine Nine fraternity and sorority, the culture that they bring as well.
So I guess I'll just chime in. So so I do love my alma mater. I actually attended UNC Charlotte. I graduated from there in 2018. So I do love UNCC, but it is a different field. So after graduating from UNC Charlotte, I actually worked there for about a year. Then I've been here at Smith for probably like a year, some change. So I would say I'm able to show up as my full self every single day. I don't have to look over my shoulder if a certain word slips out or some type of vernacular or ebonics, whatever the case may be. I can show up as my full self every single day at Jcsu. And then one little tidbit I'll tell you all. So definitely everybody's been talking about family this entire time. So pre-COVID, when we were actually on campus, so everybody's invested in our students here at Smith. So that's all the way up from President Armbruster, who was the 14th president of JCSU, all the way over to Miss Mary. Now, Miss Mary, she works in facilities management, and Miss Mary is like my third grandmother. So we would have lunch together every single day, and she would tell me about her soap opera stories that she had watched the night before. True story, right hand on the Bible, I promise you. So it's definitely that type of atmosphere. So I definitely enjoy it. I love it here at JCSU in the HBCU culture. So yeah. And I'm actually from Winston-Salem, and I have an older sister who went to Central. So yeah, shout out to y'all.
So I'll add my 2 cents into it to culminate what everyone has said, and to be the truth seeker here, and unfortunately the tough truth. As a preacher, HBCUs are often overlooked, and students are often seen as less than. And when you go to an HBCU, you have no choice but to succeed. And as you heard, that the family atmosphere, that auntie, that uncle, that mentor, that cousin, that friend, everybody at that university is depending on you to succeed, because we realize that our success, our communities are dependent upon our success. Mm-hmm. Right. And so here in any HBCU, right, you have to succeed and you have to be an overcomer, because like, the community and the kids in your neighborhood are dependent upon you. Right. That's right. And so I tell students all the time, I'm from the hood of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You can look it up. People don't think that there's Black people in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's one of the worst cities in the entire nation. All right. I'm from the hood. I'm not getting a doctorate for me. I'm getting a doctorate for the kids in the hood, so that they can see, hey, man, hey, we doing it. We can do it, right? And so when you go to an HBCU, you have no choice but to succeed.
Amen. Amen. I was not on mute and I was saying amen, but that's okay.
That's all right.
I concur with everything that has been said, and I have the same sentiment. When you attend an HBCU, even though I'm not a part of the admissions representatives, because I am a product of an HBCU, it is home away from home, and they want you to put your best foot forward. They can look at you and say, something is wrong with you today. Come here and let me talk to you in my office. And when you get out, you feel as though you have been in either before your mother, your aunt, someone from your church, and you gather yourself and you get yourself together. But it just makes you feel as though, even though you've left home, you're not away from home, because they do care about you and about your success. While I do have the floor, I will say that I did put an additional webinar that we will be having on April the 20th at 6 p.m. It's entitled Parents, Let's Talk About Financial Aid Hot Topics. So if you know someone that still needs to hear about financial aid, I know it's late, but we have late bloomers. So therefore, we still don't want them to leave anything on the table, and it's still not too late to apply for financial aid. We will be having Dr. Oliver coming back, and she will be diving in real deep about the financial aid process. So we encourage you to come back and to share it, and also share it with your family, friends, and neighbors. But I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Brittany Privet and anybody else who has something to say. But I echo everything that has been said tonight, and I want to thank you all for doing a phenomenal job. We did find out we are competing with another event tonight, which I will leave nameless. That may be why our numbers are a little low, but nevertheless, you don't catch all the fish. As long as we caught one fish tonight, we have done our job. Back to you, Ms. Privet.
Thank you so much, Ms. Broadway, and thank you to all of our speakers tonight. Your knowledge is invaluable. Your testimonies were so inspiring. And I just thank you all for taking the time out of your busy schedules to impart knowledge on our audience tonight. If you scroll through the chat, all of our presenters have put their information in the chat, and we will be on until the last family logs out, or the CFNC reps will be on until the last family logs out. But thank you so much for taking time tonight. I see that we have some high school counselors on tonight. Thank you so much for taking time out to gain information to share with your students. That's a huge, huge deal, and we thank you for that. Thank you to all the students who have taken time out to take charge and take hold of their futures to learn more about different options for yourselves. And good luck. The school year's almost over. It's been a long one, but I'm proud of everybody for making it this far. We hope you have a wonderful evening, and thank you so much for attending this evening.